This is Jill Pack with the Seasons of Joy podcast. This is episode number 97, entitled What You Know with Heidi Allsop. Are you a woman of faith who is struggling to navigate your current season of life? Do you feel like life is just happening to you instead of for you? My name is Jill Pack. I'm a certified life coach and a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I want you to know that no matter your season or circumstance, it is possible to create a more joyful life. And I would love to show you how. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, my friends. Welcome to this week's podcast. I'm so excited to be here. I have a great episode in store for you, but before that, I wanted to remind you again about my Seasons of Joy community Facebook group. I'm going live there once a month to do Ask Jill Anything. This is where members of this community, this private Facebook community, can come and ask questions about anything that they're struggling with. And it's a free community. And my purpose is to help people see the power that can come into your life from faith-based life coaching. I've included a link to join the community in the show notes, and I'd love to have you join. So come see what it's like. I also wanted to remind you of my upcoming workshop called Navigating Midlife with Grace, Strengthening Connections with Yourself, Others, and God. The purpose of this workshop is to help empower women of faith in the mid-season of life as they work on deepening their relationships with themselves, others, and God. And I'm going to be providing them with practical tools and strategies to do just that. So this is an opportunity to gather with other women of faith in a safe and supportive space to share experiences and connect with one another. So watch for more details to come soon. I'm also going to be releasing my 100th podcast episode in February. I cannot believe I'm going to be hitting 100 episodes, and I want to do something special to celebrate. So I'm going to be announcing my giveaway next week. And so watch for that the second week of February so you can be prepared for what's coming. Now on to this week's episode. So I'm really excited for this week's episode. I am going to be sharing an interview that I recently had with my friend Heidi Allsop. She is a life coach, and we have crossed paths over the last couple of years, but recently we've been able to connect a little bit more one-on-one. So it's been really fun to get to know her, and we have a similar passion of getting this work out to as many people as possible to help them create a life they love, to find joy in the journey, and to take control and responsibility of their life experience and make it a beautiful one. Heidi helps moms save their relationships with their sons so that they can worry less and enjoy them more. With a bachelor's degree in social work, life coach certification, and 28 years of experience raising her own 5 sons, Heidi is uniquely qualified to help moms raise resilient, happy sons. So here is my conversation with Heidi. So I'm going to turn the time over to Heidi to let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her and also how she came into coaching. So Heidi,
Perfect.
take it away.
Perfect. Okay. So glad to be here, Jill. Thank you for having me. And thank you for this platform and what you do. I'm mid-season, I have some of my kids that are married and have left, and I have one still at home, and it is a transition. And so grateful for what you do and the service you provide. And so thank you for having me.
I'm so glad.
Yes. So like Jill said, my name is Heidi Allsop, and I'm a social worker by education as well as a life coach, like Jill said. And more important, I'm a wife and a mom to 5 sons. And my oldest is 29. My youngest just turned 16. So I really am at that mid-season where I'm doing adult sons and also a teenager and daughter-in-laws and one granddaughter. So I noticed our kids are big sports players, and I noticed I paid attention. They love to play sports, and I paid attention to the way that the coach was coaching the kids in the game, and how he didn't go in and play for them, but he was telling them how they could be better. And so years ago, when I started hearing about life coaching, it was intriguing to me because I loved that concept. And so I started searching out and listening to different life coaches, and love the way that life coaches help people move forward, to take people who are really functioning well, but help them get to the next step. And that was so fascinating and so impactful to me that that I could move forward. I could accomplish anything that I wanted to. I could manage my mind. I could start sleeping at night because, five teenage boys, you're just, you worry about everything. And I really could start managing my mind in a different way. And it was life-changing for me. And so that's how I got into life coaching, decided to be certified. And it has been one of the best decisions ever. So the people that I serve, of course, are going to have to do with boys because I love boys and I'm so entrenched in boys. And so I've over the course of time and the hundreds of boys that came in and out of our house over the past 25 years, I noticed that moms, they think that they're doing a terrible job if they can't figure out how to help their son if he's struggling, or if they don't really connect very well with him. We really take it personal and we struggle with that. So what I do is I help moms mend or save their relationship with their sons. And so they know how to help their sons move forward so that they can move forward and really enjoy that relationship. We deserve to enjoy and have fun with these sons. And so
Yeah.
that's what I do now. That's and I
I
love
love that. Do you find that your education as a social worker and as you brought in coaching, how did that come together? Like what have you
yeah,
found as a benefit
yeah,
to
yeah.
having that experience?
Well, I think that one of the things that really helped me with the social work degree and working in the social work field is everybody's trying. Like, everybody really is doing their best. And everybody's best looks a little different. But the social work side kind of gives me a little bit of a view into the impact of generational trauma and generational um, struggling and suffering, and how that really does play out generationally. And I love that side of helping people. And I also love the fact that we can choose the life we want, regardless of our past. And I just love that concept so much. And so to be able to marry the social work and the life coaching has been just a gift for me in helping my mental health and also the mental health of people that I love. And so
Yeah,
I've
I
enjoyed that.
love that. I love that. What do you think it is? Because I think you're spot on. As mothers, it's almost like we're programmed in a weird way to believe we're not doing it good enough as
Yeah.
a mom. Like,
Yeah.
is it the way we view the responsibility? Is it like what is it, do you think that
Yeah.
it seems like every mom I talk to as well, like there's
Mhm.
just this view of I didn't do it good enough, especially in the
Yeah.
stage I am at, right? Like kids
Mhm.
have left the house and they're starting to choose for themselves in a whole different way. And
Mhm.
so it's so easy to go, yeah, if I would have, then this would be
Mhm.
different. Why
Mhm.
do we do that, do you
Yeah.
think?
Well, I spend a lot of time wondering that myself. And I
Yeah.
think the word you used, easy, is even though it feels terrible, it's easier for us to blame ourselves than to put that responsibility on our child.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just a lot easier for us to say, it must have been me. I could have done this. I should have done this. And really not look at what we did well. And and it's just easier. I just
Yeah.
think it's our default. It's our brain going to the negative. It's our default. But if we can override that, then we show up so much better in the relationship. We
Yeah.
show up so much better for ourselves. We become stronger. And then those boys lean on our faith, our confidence as they're struggling. And they usually rise to the confidence level that we portray. So we don't
Mm.
want to take the easy way out on this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
I
want to
love how
do a
you said
little bit of work.
yeah, because so many times I've found with clients I work with, and even myself in the beginning, as I began doing my own work, right, is sometimes the easiest thing is the worst thing. Most of the time,
Mhm.
the easy
Mhm.
thing isn't the thing that helps us, right?
Mhm.
We find ourselves doing the easy thing, even though it's painful,
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
which,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I
and it
love how you
just,
said that.
yeah, it circulates the experience, right? You feel you do the easy thing, it feels terrible, and you're not showing up well, which kind of makes it so that you feel terrible again. And we just keep kind of circling the drain.
Yeah.
And with just a little bit, it's not as hard as our brain wants us to think it is to get
Mhm.
out of that cycle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it's so much better.
Yeah, that's such a good point. It's like it seems harder to do it differently, but
Mhm.
in actuality, it isn't that much harder.
Mhm.
It's intentional. That's the difference,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Being more intentional and deliberate rather than just operating by what we've always done.
So
That's
true.
really the difference. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So as you work with these mothers who are questioning if they've done enough or if they're good enough, what do you work with them on, or what do you help them, what do you hope they take away from
Yeah.
their time with you?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I'm seeing right now with my clients, especially, is they'll come to me and say, I just don't know what to do. I don't know. I don't know how to help him make better decisions. I don't know how to mother a young adult. I don't know what to do with him now that he's home from his mission. I don't know how to act around his girlfriend or his wife. And I don't even know if they want me around. Like there's so many I don't knows, which once again is that's the easy thing. It's so easy
Yeah.
to go there. And the problem is then you're feeling insecure, you're feeling helpless. And then you we search out things, right? We start asking people. We ask our family and our friends, what should I do? What should I do? We read the books. We follow influencers, which is wonderful. But when we do that, we discount our own wisdom and we put it to the side and and kind of tell ourselves that we really don't know. And that's just not true. So we go and search for all of these things. And then when we try them and it falls flat, we decide, well, we must be the problem
Yeah. See, I
because
don't
this
know.
influencer, yeah, this influencer tried this and it worked great. And I tried it and it fell flat. And so it must be a me problem. And that feels terrible.
Yeah.
So that is one of the things that I'm seeing over and over is just this statement of I don't know. I don't know what to do. This is uncharted territory. And it may be your first child coming home from a mission and becoming a young adult. But that doesn't mean you don't know what to do. So the first thing I have them do is start noticing. It's that awareness.
Yeah.
Start noticing during the day, over the course of a week, how many times you tell yourself you don't know. And just bring it to the surface, bring that awareness there.
Yeah. I love
And
that.
then, yeah, and then ask yourself, okay, what do I know? What do I know? And
Yeah.
that can change everything.
Yeah.
I do know that I love him. I may not like him right now, but I love him. Desperate. I know that. I know that I could get on the same parenting page with my husband because I know that he also wants the best thing for this child. And our brain, when directed that way, will start finding all the things that we know. And it's a night and day difference in the
Yeah.
way that you parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that because I don't know just tells our brain to shut off.
Mhm, mhm.
It doesn't move us forward, right? It's just like,
Yeah.
yep. I often work with my clients about their superpowers,
Mhm.
and they had two of their superpowers are feeling their emotions, but the second superpower is curiosity. When
Yes.
we can get curious, solutions will come. But as soon as we tell ourselves we don't know anything, that just shuts off all curiosity, all solutions, all, ideas. And so I love that. Like, what do you know?
Mm.
That's a question instead of a statement. That opens them up to just that curiosity. Okay, well, what is it that I know? And then we can go find those things. So I love that
Yeah,
so much.
it really is life-changing because it directs your brain to finding those things. And here's the really the plain truth. You're the best mom your child's ever going to have. It's not your neighbor. It's not your walking friend. It's not the influencers that you follow. Like, you are your child's very best mom. And so you've been given that child for a reason. And when it's fascinating too. And I love that your community is faith-filled women, because when we say we don't know and we look around, we are not looking to him who has the answers to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so we need to ask ourselves, okay, what do I know? And maybe what does God want me to know?
Mm-hmm.
And you're connecting to someone who has answers for you specifically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have the best story, Jill. We have the best example of
Yes.
moms that did that.
Yes.
If you look in the scriptures, in the Book of Mormon specifically, that we have a story about moms and boys, and those moms that they knew things. And that's what the boys said, right? If you haven't read this story in a while, read this story, because it is life-changing as a mother. And when I first read it, right now, remember, I have all sons. And so this story in particular means a lot to me. And I studied it for years and years and years. And it made me so mad when it was like, well, we believe because our mothers knew. I'm like, what?
What they
What did
know.
they know? The world's worst cliffhanger. What did they
Yeah.
know? And so I really did it has been a lifetime process to look and find, okay, what did they know? What did they know? Because what they knew, those are the influencers that I want to follow. What did they know? Because we know how they influenced those boys. We know how valiant those boys were. And they gave tribute and gave credit to what their mothers knew. So a couple of things. And as a gift for your audience, I have a list of 24 things that I found thus far. It's an
Yes.
open
I
24
love
things
it.
that these mothers knew. So that is my gift to you today. But
Love it.
once a couple of specific things that it has been kind of life altering for me is that they didn't say their mothers told us that our moms said these things. Our moms told us these things. They said our mothers knew. And I think that is a very important distinction to make,
Mm-hmm.
because we can lecture and we can pound into these kids the things that we want them to know, but that's not what those boys said made the difference. Their
Yeah.
moms. And so their moms being confident and being sure and living their best spiritual life was the greatest gift that they could give their son. And
Yeah.
that just really has stuck out to me for years and years. So
Mm-hmm.
when you think you don't know, and ask yourself, what do I know? Really get that inner wisdom. What do I know? And
Mm-hmm.
who do I look to find answers? And these women who I cannot wait to meet someday,
Yeah.
they knew things.
100%.
They knew
Yeah.
things that influenced those boys. And so we want to look there when we're
Yeah.
trying to figure out, okay, how do I raise these boys? How do I work out this situation?
Yeah.
How can I best love here?
Yeah. Recently I was doing a study kind of on spiritual centeredness, right? And a lot of the premise is a lot of what we do is these thought patterns that we have, right? I don't know is a thought pattern
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't allow the spirit to confirm anything to us, right? And as part of this curriculum, the idea is that you find a thought pattern that you want to get a confirmation from. Like, and I think this goes really well with what you're talking about is like find those things that you know and then ask in prayer, for the witness to confirm your knowledge of it, to solidify that belief. Because I think when we invite the Spirit in, that just roots it even deeper, right? And then we can live in a way that we know it.
Yes.
Right? It's more
Yes.
of like that confidence, that surety that you referenced in the beginning is like,
Yeah.
and that's going to have such a greater impact, exactly like you said, rather than we're trying to shove it down their throat. No, I have been confirmed by the Spirit. I know God has settled that in my heart. This is what I know. How do I
Yes.
live now? How do I influence my family now that I realize how much I do know? So I just think that's such a beautiful
Yeah.
addition to your awesome concept of what do you know? Okay, what can the Spirit confirm even that you know?
Yeah. Well, and I love that because that's permanent. That's lasting.
Mm-hmm.
And wouldn't it be amazing, like if we could make our kids do things? Like if we, but darn that agency.
Darn that agency.
We want to. And the way that we, like you said, the way we can best influence is to really center ourselves through the Spirit on what we know and then live that. And that becomes intriguing to other people,
Yeah.
especially our children.
Yeah.
And they may not see it immediately, but this is a long game. And they may in 5 years from now or 10 years from now, one day wake up to, wow, what is it that makes my mom so sure? What is it that makes her live this life that makes her peaceful, that makes her feel peace? What is it? And it'll be intriguing. And that's what we can do. That's our biggest impact is living in a way that draws people to us.
Yeah.
When we're shoving things down people's throats and telling them what to do and pulling agency away, that repels people, especially our children.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
if we
love that.
want to,
Yeah, I love that you said that because that was what the image came to my mind as you were saying that. It's like just that peace and surety is like I'm even leaning in, right? Like, yes, like it
yeah,
feels so good. And then I've seen my kids repel,
yeah,
right? I've
yeah,
seen them move away from me
yeah.
when I'm living in that energy of unsurety,
Mhm.
of insecurity, of fear, of desperation, of all those emotions that feed behavior that really does push them away and creates that disconnection between us. So
Yeah,
that's just going to feed this idea that I don't know anything. But
exactly.
I do.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And that causes fear when we think we don't know, and we're supposed to be the ones that know, and then we tell ourselves over and over again we don't.
mhm,
That feeds this fear. And fear, we don't show up very well when we're feeling fearful.
mm-mm.
I don't. Maybe
Yeah,
other
I
people do,
don't.
but I
Yeah,
don't feel
I
I
don't.
don't show up very well. I show up graspy and a
Yeah,
little intrusive and not fun. Right?
yeah,
We should enjoy these relationships.
yeah.
These relationships, and I know some seasons are harder to enjoy, especially if we have a child that is struggling. But we want to at least enjoy and appreciate how we're showing up.
Yeah. So, so good. So
Yeah.
good. Is there another one that you'd like to share about?
About these moms, you guys,
Yeah,
these moms are awesome.
they're
They
so
are
awesome.
awesome. One of the things that's on this list is uh, uh, another one that's coming to mind immediately is that they were part of a community. And I loved that these mothers, they didn't say my mother knew it. They said our mothers knew it. And I think that's so fascinating that
Mhm.
they were part of a community. And if you think about it, these these stripling warriors, many of their fathers and grandfathers and maybe even older brothers were slaughtered. If we remember the story years before, the Lamanites came down and they knelt rather than fighting, and so many were slaughtered. So many of these mothers, I'm assuming, but the story kind of unfolds in this way, and the timing does, is that a lot of them were single moms, just doing their best, and they gathered a community. And I love that. And the other one that comes to mind that I love so much is that they kept their covenants, these women.
Hmm. I
They
love
made covenants, they made them and they kept them.
Yeah.
And
So
there's
good.
something with those covenants that connects us to the Savior. Our covenants connect us to the Savior, and then the Savior is mighty to save. And so we want to keep that connection. So those mothers, they made covenants and they kept those covenants.
Hmm.
We
I
can learn
love
so
that.
much. Mhm.
Yeah, I love that. I think of like even the covenants connected them to God and their community,
Yes.
right? Those covenants actually created the community as well. And I've thought about that in my life, and tell me if this is the
Mhm.
same for you. Like I look around the women that that I'm surrounded by on a regular basis, and they are so inspiring. They're
Mhm.
strong, they're faithful. Doesn't mean they don't struggle. Of course
Yeah.
everybody does. Everybody has hard things. But I just look at how they
Yeah.
navigate those hard things, and they're inspiring to me, which helps me
Mhm.
want to be my best. And I just think there is so much power in surrounding ourselves with other women
Mhm.
that have you, that are there for you, that lift you, that inspire you, that
Yeah.
encourage you,
Yeah.
and encourage our kids on. Like I think I just went to a missionary um, opening of their call, and the people that gathered around that child, God, I'm
Mhm.
gonna cry, gathered around that child as they opened their call, and it was, there was a lot of mothers in there. There's a lot of
Yeah.
mothers in there, a lot of
Yeah.
kids, but a lot of mothers.
Yes.
And I think that is evidence of that point that you made, like that
Yeah.
community
Yeah.
and covenant together.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that you talk about that too, Jill, because we need that community in every season. And I look at my daughters-in-law and they need that surrounding of other covenant keeping women as they have these babies and have these small children, right? And I need that community as I have a teenager. And I look at my mom, she surrounds herself with a community of covenant keeping women. And every season of life requires that community. And I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I think that's part of the gift that we're given is each other
Yeah.
to battle through. And it doesn't make everything better, but wow, it makes it so much easier when we know that, our friend down the street is thinking about us and praying for us when we're struggling and
Yeah.
that community is available.
Yeah. Or that they've walked a similar path,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
they have a gift of perspective that we might not have because of where we are on that
Yeah.
journey. So
Yeah.
yeah, so beautiful, so beautiful. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on in our conversation? I think we've covered some really great things.
Well, I was thinking as I was thinking about this conversation today, I thought, okay, what could I give these wonderful people as like practical ways to connect with their
Mhm.
son at any age?
Yeah.
And so I came up with a few. So if we have
Awesome.
just a minute, I'll share a
Yes.
couple of you.
Yes.
So especially as our kids get a little bit older, and I get it, like I'm in that transition too of between boyhood and manhood, and it is a little tricky. Like it is a little tricky because it's time for us to back off even more and allow them to to live their best life. And so here's a couple of practical tips. Some may resonate, some may be discarded, but one of them is I have kind of gotten into the habit of I'll ask them permission if I want to give advice. So if they're telling me something, I'll say, "Hey, but do you want my advice?" And sometimes they'll say yes, and once in a while they'll say no, and I respect that. But I don't want to just throw it out there. Because I want them to gain the confidence of making their own decisions. And so that's one thing that I've really tried and I'm pretty good at is, hey, do you want my advice here or do you just want to talk? And they'll tell me if they want one of those. So that's one thing. Another thing is I extend invitations without expectations. So I I kind of have taken this role on as the gatherer we want our kids to come home. And when I say our kids, I'm including now, I have 4 daughters-in-law and a granddaughter. And like, we want them to be together. They need, talking about community, right? They're going to need each other. And so I create opportunities together and I extend the invitation, but I don't make it pressure filled. Like, hey, we are doing this and we'd love for you to come. And if you can't, we totally understand. Because when they feel that pressure, that talk about repelling, right? When there's pressure there. So extending the invitations without the expectations. Another one is allowing them to make decisions. And this is so hard sometimes, but it goes back to that agency. Darn that agency. It must be better than we think because we fought a war over it. But allowing them to make decisions is really, this is a long game. And we may be standing back, seeing consequences to their decisions, but until they experience that, they're not going to learn it. And we want to keep the relationship. So you want to, whatever you do, keep that relationship.
Yeah.
Another one is, there are some things I've just decided ahead of time. I'm going to adore whoever my son brings home to marry. I'm just going to adore her. I'm not going to look for faults in her. Like, I decided that years ago. And it's interesting. One of my sons, when he was getting serious with his wife now, but his girlfriend at the time, he says, Mom, what do you think? And I said, I am going to love whoever you bring home. I think she is awesome. I think she's amazing. And I just want you to know, I'm going to just adore her. Whoever it is, I'm going to adore her and love her. So some things, like, I'm just going to decide ahead of time. And that's really helpful to my brain because then I'm not looking for what they're lacking, but I'm just looking for ways to love. So
yeah,
whatever profession they choose, I'm just going to think it's great. You got this, buddy, you know, and whoever you bring home to be my daughter, like, I'm going to love her and she's going to be amazing and she's going to be so dear to me. And then the last one that's kind of hard for us moms is just accepting it's just not about us anymore.
Yeah. So good.
Boys, they still need you. They still need you. They still need to know that you love them. I don't think boys ever outgrow the need for acceptance from their mom. I just don't. And the need to not disappoint their mom.
Yeah.
They don't want to disappoint their mom. And so just expressing that love and making them feel that love is going to keep that relationship. Yeah. So those are just some practical tips.
I love that. Those are 5 practical tips that I think are so good. And the thing I was thinking as you were sharing these, they're all about ourselves, like how to manage ourselves, right? And there are things we can do right now. We can begin practicing one of these things today. We don't have to necessarily do all of them, but like try one. Try just inviting without expectation and see what happens. Right. Yeah. And then try another one and then try another one and just see. And I think that I have found as I've implemented each of those that you've suggested myself, I have like it builds momentum to show up even better. Right. Like at the end, like as you begin practicing each of those things, it's almost becomes part of who you are to show up that way. You've built that skill or that talent, if you will, to really show up in love and support and all of that. So I love all 5 of those. Yeah. So what was the first one? The first one was
asking permission to give advice. Ask permission. Okay. Invitations without expectations.
Okay.
Allow them to make decisions. And decide ahead of time. Make some decisions how you'll show up ahead of time, and then accept that it's just not about you anymore. It's about them. So pick one. I love that. Yes. Yeah. Don't get overwhelmed and be like, now I'm a failure. No. Remember, what we know, we can implement one. We can just take one of those.
And then tap into your superpower of curiosity and go, what did I learn by trying this?
Yeah.
How could I have done better? What would I have liked to done different? And then move on, right? But just learn from trying instead of resigning to nothing. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
good.
So
So
true.
good. Heidi, thank you so much for coming on today. Such good information. And I really think that the women that follow this are they will benefit so much by what you do. So
Well,
thank
thank you for
you.
having me, and thank you
Yeah.
for creating
Yeah.
this place
Oh,
together.
it's the best. I love it. I love it. So tell people where they can find you, and we'll
Oh,
put the
yes.
link in the show notes
Okay.
to all of that, and the freebie of the stripling warriors mothers. Like we
Yeah.
all want that.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell us all the
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I am super easy to find. I have a website. It's HeidiAllsopCoaching.com. And my last name has two L's. And then you can find me on Instagram at Heidi Allsop Coaching. I'm on Facebook. And then also I'll send out the 24 things that the stripling warriors mothers knew. And every Monday I send out a Monday mom tip with just a little
awesome.
tip and trick on how to keep that relationship with your son and
Oh, I
really
love
have
it.
fun with him. Boys are so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to have fun when we're worried and afraid and insecure.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
really we are no fun. No one wants
Mhm.
to be around us either.
So
That's what I
true.
decided. It's like
So true.
I need to be the fun. I want to be the fun. Let's have
Yeah.
fun.
So true.
Way more fun.
I agree.
So
I
awesome. Well,
agree.
thank you so much, Heidi.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you hear, I would love it if you would share it with your friends and family and leave me a rating and review. If you'd like to learn more about what life coaching is, please schedule a free discovery call with me where we can work together through something that's causing you a problem. Just go to my website, seasons-coaching.com, and you can also find information about my Seasons of Joy one-on-one coaching program and my Seasons of Joy community. Have a joyful week, and I'll see you next time.